So I would like to introduce Miss Komal Chenna. Meanwhile, Miss Chenna is the founder and COO of the Sapientiary. The Sapientiary is an internationally recognized edtech startup that is changing how Indian higher educational institutes educate and upskill students for their careers and livelihood. She specializes in operations and talent management. She works with a strong team of passionate education enthusiasts who believe that the current education system isn't making learners ready for the disruptive world of tomorrow. Ms. Chenna is constantly working on ensuring that the next generation of leaders are holistically educated and ready to take on the world. Welcome, Ms. Chenna. It is a pleasure to host you today. We would love to hear about your journey.
All right. Thank you so much, Tamisha, for that wonderful and very extensive overview about me. It's crazy to see that there's around 500 people here listening to all these wonderful, speakers coming in talking about so many amazing things. So truly honored that, I was invited on this panel to just speak about my journey and how what I've learned so far can be used and can be helped in some way or the other to these wonderful students and people joining in. So thank you for, EduBridge and Yuva, first of all, for giving me this opportunity. But yeah, let me go ahead, share my screen. I have a small presentation for you guys as well. So let me go ahead, do that right now. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, awesome. Great. Okay. All right, guys. First and foremost, happy 74th Republic Day to you all here. As I mentioned earlier, very honored that this is a platform where I get to share my journey and what exactly I have learned as an entrepreneur over the past few years. So, guys, today I'll be talking about 21st century skills for the future, right? What are those skills that are going to help you no matter what domain you go into, no matter what you do, right? Whether you're researching, whether you're going to be an entrepreneur, whether you do a corporate job, what are those skills that are essential components of your career growth? So I've been an entrepreneur and educator for the past few years because I personally saw that these skills, these 21st century skills, were lacking in college curriculums and school curriculums across the country. So actually, before I begin, I want to understand from every one of you, what do you think are 21st century skills, right? Just any skill that comes to your mind. What are some essential skills that you guys think? You could actually go to www.menti.com and it'll ask you to give a code. And this is the code 82210942. So you guys can put in 3 different whatever skills that you think are necessary, and I'll be able to see kind of like a word cloud of all the thoughts from these 500 amazing viewers. So go ahead. I'm gonna give you guys 2 minutes to log in and just share your thoughts. These skills can be anything from creativity to collaboration to maybe learning how to use a laptop or phone, whatever you think is necessary for you. Okay, so I'm not seeing anything yet. Are you guys able to log in? Any issues with going to the website? It's just www.ment.com. Okay, a communication, AI, digital marketing. Okay, wow. A few more, creativity, interpersonal. Wow, okay, a great audience here giving me all the crazy keywords that people look for when it comes to 21st century skills. Awesome. Okay, let's get a few more. There's 500 people here. I'm looking for at least 20 words. Coding, data analysis, public speaking. Awesome. Okay, we're getting a couple of more. Data science, negotiation skills. Amazing. Leadership, agility. Wow. Okay. E-commerce, time management. Great. Wow. Okay. So I'm going to keep this running. in the background, and I'm going to switch back to my presentation. You guys can still keep on going, putting your thoughts there, so that I can, extract this and see what you guys have in mind. But that's amazing that you guys already know what these 21st century skills mean, right? So in this presentation that I'm going to be sharing with you guys today, quick 15 minutes, I'll be weaving in 3 integral skills that helped me shape my entrepreneurship journey, helped me overcome various different challenges that I faced, and pivot into different product lines, into different projects that we did, and also how you can develop those skill sets starting from today. So, oops, the wrong slide. Okay. Once upon a time, not too long ago, specifically 2017, me and my co-founder Kushal, we started a nonprofit organization called the Vimana. We focused on building skills like collaboration, critical thinking, autonomy, physical working in this physical setting. So we actually got together a bunch of engineering students, undergraduate students from across Bangalore. We worked on all these crazy engineering projects. We did the most insane of projects. We did mini rockets, we did autonomous drones, we did high altitude balloons. So we actually worked on all these crazy different projects, and we got these projects from the industry. We collaborated with different companies like Airbus, different institutions like Indian Institute of Science and Horticulture to get these projects and give them to the student community. So this was going amazing. We were growing exponentially, and all the students who are graduating, who are applying for jobs, were crediting their success to what they had learned, the essential competencies that they learned when they were there with us in Vimana. But any good story has to have a but. The pandemic hit and we could not meet physically anymore. We tried doing things online. We had online weekly meetups, but because everything was built around this physical setting of people coming in, working on projects, doing things with like the drill kit and whatever, it was literally impossible for us to go fully online. So we failed miserably at this. Boom. That's where skill number 1 came into place, which was critical thinking and problem solving. Me and my co-founder Kushal needed to think quick, right? Because what could we do and what should we do? We couldn't just shut down complete operations because we saw the immense positive response from people. But at the same time, what we were doing was not working anymore. So we started talking to our mentors, we started talking to our peers, fellow entrepreneurs, literally anybody who would hear us out. We started thinking, outside the box. We come up with a lot of solutions, tested a couple, failed in a few, but finally stuck onto one, which is what I'm building right now at Sapientiary. So critical thinking integrated with problem solving itself is all about looking at problems from multiple different perspectives. It's about ideating solutions from various different mindsets and approaches. So now you guys are probably like, okay, Komala, that sounds great, but how do I actually improve this skill for myself? Well, it all starts with asking the question, why? Just in your daily life, about everything that's happening, right? Why does this car work the way it does? Why does that person behave the way they do? Why is this book top selling amongst others, dozens of other books in the similar genre? Staying curious to find out the questions is actually just the start, right? It's just step 1. Finding the answers is a whole nother next step and a next level. But this shows that you're curious to know why things work the way they do. And that automatically hones that meter for when it comes to you being put into a difficult situation or a problem that you're unable to solve. You'll start thinking, okay, why is this happening, right? What is maybe the root cause of this? What are the external factors that are making this problem worse or better, right? It all starts with asking the question why in just everything that you do in your daily life. And to be very honest, with all the world's information available to us at just the touch of a finger, it doesn't take really long to find out answers to these whys as well. But so that's about my first skill that helped me very, very, very highly when, as an entrepreneur, there's a lot of challenges that I deal with, right? It's important to make sure that I take into consideration a lot of different solving methodologies to see which solution would make the most sense at what time. Okay, so back to the story. So now we had this idea called Sapientry. We had an idea, we had kind of like this product in mind. Now we worked day and night to bring this idea to reality, just off the paper into the real world. One way for us to do this was through business pitch competitions. Gosh, we applied to so many competitions. We got rejected in so many, multiple times. We got selected for a few. We didn't win. We came back home very sad. We got selected for a few. We actually won a few. And throughout that whole journey, we learned a very, very crucial skill. And I think this is something that you guys mentioned in the word cloud earlier as well. Number 2 is communication. And no, I'm not talking about the general ability to speak in any language, right? The level of communication that we're talking about that's necessary for the 21st century is all about, I would say, in my opinion, 3 main things. Number 1, making sure that what you say is completely understood by your audience, right? It's completely taken in by whoever you're speaking to. For us, when it came to business pitch competitions, it was all about, do the judges actually understand what our company does? Do they care about it? Do they understand the nuances, the technicalities, the logistics? Is whatever we're saying actually getting registered into their heads? Because, we can talk for the sake of talking, but what really matters is what is retained by the listener, right? Number 2 is the power of persuasion. So, good news that I would like to share with you all. Last year in August, we actually closed our pre-Series A funding round for Sapientry. But this took almost 4 months of persuading the right stakeholders. So the ability to influence other people's thoughts, opinions, and actions was so important to us because it wasn't just the investor who was one person. It was the whole investor team. It was the legal team. It was their chartered accountant team. There was all these stakeholders. And we had to convince them that our team was the right one to do this job, to get Sapientry off the ground, to grow with the money that you give us, even though we had little to no evidence to show them. This is where persuasion plays such an important role in all of your daily lives, right? Whether it is persuading your parents that you want to sleep over at your friend's house, or whether it's persuading your teammate to help you out on a project, or whether it's even persuading your manager that maybe either you're working too hard, you need a break, or maybe you're not working hard enough and you'd love to take on more responsibilities. It's really, really important to understand how to get the other person, how to, I would say, plant a seed in the other person's mind about what you want them to think and make it such that they understand why you are thinking that way, right? Through convincing arguments, through facts, through pointers, whatever it is. And the 3rd one is strong written communication, right? There's a big difference with verbal communication and written communication, especially in the age where we text more often than we pick up and talk to people over calls. During our whole investment process, we had so many documents to prepare and submit. And all of these we had to do, just me and Kushal sit in, we had to prepare these documents completely from scratch. We only had them reviewed by the legal team. So it's really, really important to know how to write certain pieces of information, for what context, for which audience, in what setting. Obviously, what you're going to be saying to your mom over a WhatsApp text is going to be much different from what you email to your professor about an assignment, or is going to be very different from what you ask for an extension in deadline for your manager, right? All these contexts are very different. The audience is very different. The tone in which you're writing also is going to be very, very different. The language that you use is going to be different, even if it just might be English itself. So this is also something that really helped us make sure that investor team trusted us, right? That we were capable enough to take their money to the next level. So again, how do you guys develop these skills? To be very honest, I would suggest each and every one of you who's struggling specifically with these, or maybe even if you're not struggling, right? Maybe you're just a novice, maybe you want to become an amateur in just professional communication. I would say immediately go ahead, sign up to any free course that you get on, all these MOOCs, these massive online open courses like Coursera, Udemy, EDX, NPTEL, Skillshare, on professional communication. There's a lot of different things that you're going to learn in terms of specific nuances, specific domains of communication. I've just mentioned a couple. There's going to be a lot of more because communication itself is a very broad topic. So I would say anybody who wants to take this skill to the next level, definitely go ahead. Again, there's tons and tons of free resources online to get you started off with. Okay, but coming back to the story. So we needed to grow exponentially, right? We had the money, we had the investment signed up. The investors, they believed in us, how we spoke, how we presented, really influenced them and convinced them to put his money in our company. Now, what do? How do we grow? How do we expand exponentially? Well, that's where skill number 3, which is digital literacy, comes into place. So this might sound a little contradictory because, all of us already use our phones 24/7. We're literally on this call via Zoom. So what else does digitally literate mean, right? Well, it's all about knowing how to use digital tools to your advantage. And I'm starting from the very basics, right? Do you know how to effectively do a Google search? We search dozens and dozens of things on a daily basis. But how do you do an effective Google search? How do you use the right keywords, the right placeholders of different kind of words, right? What are the filters involved, right? Starting with the very basics, moving on to things like how do we put automations in place? How do we put systems in place using digital tools? So at Sapientiary, we were able to automate so much of our manual work using digital systems. So for example, let's say a student signs an interest form on our website. A welcome mail gets sent to them automatically, right? None of our team members are sitting and sending them emails, checking who signed the form every 1 hour, but it's a system that's put in place. It's an automation that happens, right? Similarly, many of Sapientiary's processes run on autopilot, and that's why our entire team is able to focus on the really important things like growth and ideating new projects and products. But this isn't just something that's, fancy business lingo or entrepreneurship skills. This can be used in all of your daily life as well, right? I would suggest all of you guys, right, after this session or whenever you have 30 minutes to kill, go ahead and just check out this website. It's called digitalliteracyassessment.org. They have a bunch of free assessments. So, you can just try these out, see what level you're at in terms of digital literacy, in terms of whether you know how to use basic tools like Microsoft Excel or PowerPoint, all the way moving on to, do you know how to do a career search, right? Do you know which platforms to use for the right career search, the right pathways to go to maybe find your end outcome, right? This platform is something that we use at Sapientry as well to help our students really find out kind of where they stand in terms of digital literacy and what they should improve on. Now, if any of you want to go to the next step, really take this digital literacy to the next level, I would suggest downloading an app called IFTTT. It stands for If This, Then That. So this app actually creates mini automations on your phone. It's actually really fun because it brings out so many other skills like creativity, problem solving, just brainstorming in general. I have an automation on my phone that it's something related to finance. Every time I do a Google Pay transfer, it automatically updates that onto an Excel sheet where I can track and manage my expenses. And all of this, I'm not sitting and coding anything, right? It's just through the app. I drag and drop the right things that I want. So in this way, right, I'm really using technology to help me, right, to help what I want to achieve. So, all right, guys, coming to the end of the story, this is Sapientry. We're on a growth phase right now where we're rapidly hiring, expanding, building new projects. This is what our vision is. We want to help people from various domains, age groups, backgrounds get more confidence in their career and subsequently their life. We're building a Google map for career navigation. And, you guys can check us out at sapientry.com, or on LinkedIn, you can find us on Sapientry as well. And you can even connect with me, obviously, at Komal Chenna. That's my LinkedIn profile. But we have been working for the past 2 years specifically on this problem. How do we make students more competent that when they graduate, they're more confident in what career choice that they want to choose? So to conclude with, none of these skills, guys, will ever come to anybody naturally, right? Nobody is born with some mysterious talent of critical thinking in difficult situations. That's why they're called skills, right? Because with practice, research, and experience, you can develop and hone these skills. I'm a strong believer that anything in this world, from how to, make a dosa, to how to drive a car, to how to knit a sweater, or to how to build an app, right? Anything is a skill to be learned. So as long as you guys put your mind to it, I truly believe that you guys can go ahead, achieve whatever you want. So happy learning, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. And, I'm open to questions. But yeah, hope you guys learned a little something from me and have a lot to take back from today as well.
Thank you so much, Ms. Chenna. We do have a question that we will direct towards the end.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, sure. So let me stop sharing my screen and I will go ahead, give it to Charvi to go ahead and, inspire these students.
Right. We do have some questions for you. Awesome. So yes, the first question is, how can I find funding for my startup?
Oh, wow. Amazing question, whoever, put that out. So I'll explain a little bit about how we found it, and I'll then explain how potentially you guys can go ahead too. So we actually, like I mentioned, we were a part of a lot of business pitch competitions, and in one specific competition called TIE Global, that's the Indus Entrepreneurs. we represented Mysore. So we pitched first at the Mysore level, then we went to Karnataka, then India, then South Asia, and then national level. And we actually won the international pitch fest for the Social Global Impact Award. So that got us a lot of recognition within the Mysore ecosystem, because a lot of people started saying, oh, these people represented Mysore on the global level. So a lot of HNIs, or high net worth individuals, kind of saw, okay, who are these people? What are they doing? And in that way, we actually got a mentor who was part of this program. So he was mentoring us for the duration of the whole program. It was almost a year long I would say, from selection point all the way till prize distribution and moving ahead. And after he started hearing from other people saying, oh, wow, this is such a great company, maybe you could look at how you could mentor them even beyond the competition. And so our relationship with him grew stronger after that. And actually, he became our investor eventually when we went and we asked him, you've been our mentor, you've seen how we're growing for almost a year now. We would love to onboard you as our first investor to really, because you've seen us grow, exactly where we would want to go in the future as well. So that's what happened in our case. We're very lucky to have our mentor as our investor as well, because he's always looking out for us on a personal level as well. So I would say that was a very kind of a lucky by coincidence thing that happened. But for many of you guys, I would say the route path would be very similar in terms of you just need to keep applying to different opportunities. So whether it is pitch competitions or being part of different organizations, like I think Young Indians, Young Entrepreneurs is another one. IACC is another one. Just Thai in general, and a lot of these organizations, they do these pitch fests. They start off with minimal prize money, but just being there, being present, being vocal about your company is going to get you eyes of all these important people. And that's why they say your net worth is your net work, right? The more people you meet, the more people you might get something back from. So I would say just go ahead, apply to all these different business competitions out there. Even if you may or may not win, the more experience you have, honestly, it's just like an exam, right? The more experience you have, kind of what things to do to crack the pitch fest. But I would say that's a really great place to start for anybody who has an idea, kind of has maybe a prototype in hand and wants to take things to the next level.
Thank you, Ms. Chenna, for that answer. I have the next question with me. How can I scale up my business?
Wow. Okay. So very, very broad question. So I think whoever, asked that question, one thing that I would say strongly is find a core team that is going to stick with you no matter what the hardships are. And I think this is going to be the hardest thing you're ever going to do. The whole investment procedure is not going to be anything when it comes to just finding a solid team who you can really depend on and rely on. It was the hardest thing for us that we're still working on a daily basis. But that's one way you can grow, because you as an individual, as one entrepreneur, as one business owner, it's physically impossible for you to do everything. You cannot take care of sales, product, content, customers, technology, right? You cannot take care of all of those. Maybe in the beginning, first couple of months, you can, maybe it is possible. But if you want to grow, you need to put the right people in the right places so that they could take that forward. Head of marketing to take care of marketing completely. Head of sales to take care of sales, customer success. Head of product to take product management updates and everything. So I would say that would be the most difficult thing that you do, but that would also be the thing with the best outcomes that you could possibly do.
Thank you for the answer, Ms. Chenna. So unfortunately, Charvi's network issues are still persistent, so she won't be able to join us back. but we can
Uh-oh.
continue to get you to answer a couple of more questions
Okay.
if you may.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I think Sanjay put on the chat having a good team, 90% of problems are solved. Yes, 100%. You need somebody to rely on because entrepreneurship, it is a very lonely journey, right? That's what everybody says. You'll see your peers, classmates, they get a good job, they get a good pay. Maybe 2 years down the lane, they're buying their own apartment, their own car, and you're still here struggling with a product that maybe is an MVP, that maybe is in the market or not. So surrounding yourself with good, positive people who you can rely on. They might not be full-time team members. I would say have a good network of people who can volunteer as well, right? Whenever you need, come in. Maybe you're hosting an event, just your friends, your family, somebody who you can call, who will be there, who will show up for you, makes the difference a lot.
Great. I do have one last question. How can I balance the demands of running a business with my personal life?
You can't. The straight up answer is it's impossible. When you have a business, especially the first few years, you have to I would say the whole joy of running a business or of having your own company is that is your baby, right? When a family has a kid, the kid becomes their entire personal life, professional life. Like everything revolves around the baby. Is the baby being fed enough? Is the baby being taken care of? Does the baby have a good stroller to go on? Whatever that is, right? In the same way, when you start a business, everything becomes related to your business. Even when you're sitting and just drawing or doodling, right? You'll start to think, how can I maybe take this creative side? How can I improve the marketing aspects? How can I improve like the design aspects on my website? So that's, I would say, the real joy of entrepreneurship. And if you or anybody is somebody who struggles with having a balanced entrepreneur life and then professional life, probably entrepreneurship is not for you yet, right? Maybe there are some things in your personal life that you want to do, maybe some milestones that you want to achieve, and maybe after that you can go ahead. Because I'm telling you, personal experience, this is very difficult. I'm all smiling, talking all happily, but this is not me all the time. There's going to be a lot of hardships, and so it's something that is very challenging. There's not going to be any balance. But I think one thing that has helped me out is taking breaks every couple of whether it's just taking Sundays off or taking like a trip every 2 to 3 months to kind of just defocus, take a back step and just see what's happening, context setting, those kinds of things. But yeah, genuinely cannot expect to have work-life balance, at least for a few years, right? We don't want that to be the whole entrepreneurship journey, but at least the starting 2 to 3 years are going to be like that.
Thank you so much for that answer, Ms. Chenna. And thank you for sharing your journey with our audience today. You truly are an inspiration for all of us.
Wow. Thank you so much, Tamisha. It was really great. And it's so unfortunate to see that Charvi won't be joining us. I was very excited to hear her speak as well. But hopefully, I think maybe, the audience could maybe ask questions to Charvi just based on what she was about to speak. And in that way, we can get something back from her. But yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. It was really a pleasure to speak to all of you.
Thank you, Ms. Chenna. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.